Hi, this is Dan McCafferty of the rock band Nazareth, and you're rocking the air with AndreGraziadei in Backbeat.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
Well, Dan, Pete, thanks for taking time out to have a chat with us today.
No problem.
What was the catalyst that got you interested in being a musician, or do you come from a musical family background?
No, really, I mean, my family were all musical fans. My sister used to sing a bit, you know. And my mum and dad were big record buyers, like jazz and blues and all the stuff that was around at the time, Sinatra and Crosby and all that, you know. I can't say, I mean, what spurred my interest in music was when rock and roll came out. And I first heard people like Little Richard and Elvis Presley and, you know, Chuck Berry and things like that when I was a kid. And then you sort of, Pete and I have been friends since we were at school, and we had both had an interest in music, so you tended to hang about with guys that had an interest in music, you know, so that therefore little bands start here, there and everywhere, you know, and then eventually we all got together in a band. When we first did it, it was for a laugh, you know, it's just so we could get to play and meet girls and maybe make a few quid on the side, you know.
Sex, drugs and rock and roll.
Sex, drugs and rock and roll, basically. And then eventually it becomes more serious when you start writing your own stuff and that, and then people start to show an interest in you. So it sort of takes on a life of its own, you know, you just sort of go with it, you know. I mean, I can't honestly say we ever planned to be together for 40 years and still be playing at this time. We never did that, you know, just kind of just run with it, basically.
You've done some solo recordings in the past. What was the motivation for that?
Well, the first one was just an album of songs that I really liked. And Pete was having a child at the time, well, Pete's wife was having a child at the time, and so we were off the road. And at the time, the band had just started to take off. So the management, of course, "I'll make a solo record, Dan." You know? So I went in and made a solo record, but it was fun to do because I did it with the Alex Harvey band and Roger Glover and just a bunch of pals, you know. And it was all songs everybody knew. It was all cover songs. Things like Sam and Dave songs, and "Stay With Me Baby" by Lorraine Ellis and things like that. I mean, loads of things. And that came out. And the next one I did was for a German company. There was what happened was they wanted an English version. They'd done this musical sort of thing, and they wanted an English version of it. And the guy that sung it couldn't sing English very well, so they got me in to sing it. And the other side of the album was songs that Pete and I wrote that really only suited to Nazareth at the time. You know, so we used the sort of piece because it was two sides in those days. And that's been kind of it, really, you know. Because ever since then, it's like, would you like to make another solo album, Dan? Does that mean we'd have to stop touring with Nazareth? And we never do that. You know, so, no, I mean, it was fun to do at the time. It's just one of these things, you get the opportunity, you take it or not, it's up to you.
Have any other, for you, for example, or any other members within the group have any ambitions to make a solo album?
No, really, no. You know, to tell you the truth, the things that we do with Nazareth are the kind of things I'd want to do anyway. You know, so it's not as if, you know,
might as well do it together.
A lot of guys want to make a solo album because they would rather do something else different from, you know, what they're doing with the band. I'm quite happy with what we're doing with the band. So
no need to search for anything else. Your voice is distinctively recognizable. Now, is anybody else, artists, bands, whatever, ever asked you to, you know, like do something with them?
Oh, well, sure. I mean, I did a couple of things just because they want that sound on as a backup thing. I did one years ago for John Punter, a young band he had. I sung a few harmonies because he just wanted that noise, you know. But no, really, I mean, there's a guy. The Swedish mob. Europe. One of the players out there's got a girl. He wants me to do Love Hurts with her, of course. I did Love Hurts with a Russian girl. But it tends to be Love Hurts because of the song, I think, not necessarily because of me. You know what I mean? But I have got a voice that really doesn't sound like anybody else. So if you don't like it,
it's
tough.
It's love it or hate it.
If you don't like it, that's kind of tough.
40 years and very few lineup changes. How is that possible?
Well, we kind of like what we do, and we kind of like each other, you know. And we make space for each other as well, you know.
Uh-huh.
When you could sit on a Nazareth tour bus and not hear a word spoken for hours, you know, we didn't tend to just blather on about inane rubbish, you know. But then if you go onto a tour bus after the gig and we've had a couple of beers, then you'll get a laugh.
Because there's always discrepancies, you know, there's always 4 different people in a band and whatnot, so...
Sure. I mean, Manny, we got rid of Manny because of that. We just couldn't get on with the guy, you know, after a long time, after a 20-year argument. And then Billy came in, and he came and went, he had other things he wanted to do. With Alistair in for a while, Zal Clemenson was in the band because, well, he was doing nothing. The Alex had bands had split up. He was driving a cab or something ridiculous. So Zal was in for a couple of seasons. John Locke, our keyboard player, he was in again for a couple of years there. And then we had a guy called Ronnie Leigh who was with us for a long time playing keyboards, and he left 4 years ago. I mean, his missus started a business. I think he's retired touring, you know. But we've always, when the guys have been in the band, we've always gone reasonably well with them, you know. I mean, obviously you have differences of opinions about different things, but
always, yeah.
So that's not
Well,
unusual.
with the same lineup for a long time, in my way, but then Daryl, the original drummer, he died, you know, so, you know, there's nothing you can do with that. You know, so it's, you know,
it's in nobody's hands.
No,
Right, so we've got, you know, we've got Liam to play the drums. And it's funny actually when you start to go through, when you start to count the players that have been in the band,
that's great.
we've actually had 10 people in Nazareth.
No.
You know, when you start to count them up, but it doesn't seem like that. No, because
it seems to me Jimmy's been with us, what, about 14, 16 years or something?
15 years, yeah.
And he just seems to, it seems to be he's been the guitarist forever.
I read somewhere that Nazareth has on occasion performed to support a benefit. Now, what determines the decision and what cause that you would decide to support?
It's usually a local thing, because I mean the big charities, if you like, they get their, you know, their day at the park. You know, they get the mega stars and they make the mega bucks.
No.
But we support local things like the McMillan sisters who treat cancer patients and stuff. Mainly because, well, Pete's mother died of cancer. And they're just great, and they tend not to get noticed, you know, because it's people looking at the bigger picture, like Feed Africa or, you know, something like that. Which I'm not blaming, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of these smaller things suffer. So we would prefer to do something for them, you know, because it's obviously more substantial, and you give it directly to them. You know, there's not like a whole board about who decides the money goes, and you have to pay them. You just go, here's the dough, baby.
So generally things that are pretty close to home.
Well, you know, things like when a mate of ours, like his wife, his missus, she's got MS. You know, so we said, right, well, we'll do one for MS because it attracts your attention to it because you know somebody who's got it. You know, and you think, you know, that's a lousy thing. And we did one,
and it's astonishing actually. Since we did it for MS, the amount of people I've met that have got MS, it's unbelievable.
The other one, the really strange one was. That we did one for that I can never remember the name of that disease. The one where people just go to sleep. You know, they'll be talking to you, and then you'd be talking like this and just go, and they just go to sleep. I can't remember the name for that.
There was a young man that we knew, he was a very successful young businessman in Rosyth, and he got this, and his life's just ruined.
You know,
and he was a very successful guy, and he got this. It's like narcophilic. It's
something daft. I can't say
and it's like you just.
So narcolepsy.
Something like that. It's a version of that, but they reckon it's caused by a stress syndrome thing. So we're doing one for them, things like that. I mean, we're not. I mean, like when we wouldn't be object to do one of the big shows, of course not. You know, but we usually do one at home. We usually do it around Christmas time because we're at home, and you know, there's usually something local. A local school. We did one for instruments for the school ones as well.
In the early 70s, I was talking to my brother in the early 70s, he saw you guys on a triple bill. Rush, which was at the beginning of their career, you and Rory Gallagher.
Yeah.
But what's the strangest gig you guys ever were billed for?
Oh, it's hard to say.
I mean, there's a lot of them that, I remember in the old days, way back 71, 72 in Germany, when you used to come to you have all these festivals over here, and you would be the only band that nobody's ever heard of, really, because what they would have, it's like they'd have like Jimi Hendrix, the roadie that worked for him, You know, the Rolling Stones, some guy that played keyboards on one of the records, you know, this kind of crap, you know. So you used to get to these things, and you were actually at the bottom of the bill, but by the time you got there, you actually were the headline act, because all these people were nobodies, you know, and they just had big names on, you know, so they used to do that all the time in Germany, you know? And the other ones are the ones that, we did one last year, which we hate, and we're doing these kind of, these oldies festivals, you know. Why am I on this bill? Because these are people that have all got one foot in the grave, you know. They're not actually making new records or anything, you know. And you're going, we hate those things.
You're just riding the old coattails.
You just want to avoid those.
I know it's enough people, but it's like they don't tour properly now. Maybe Smokey's would be the only one that kind of do.
But you know,
the rest of them, it's just
when you see your name on a bill like that. I mean, generally what happened with things like that is our agents booked it. We didn't know it was one of them until just before anything. Oh no!
Nothing
Don't
can do now.
that. Contract's been signed, and I've got my 10%.
Nazareth has some kind of special relationship with Canada. What is it that you like most about Canada?
They like us, basically.
Yeah.
They love us, so we love them back. And I think what happened initially was we brought out a record called Razmanaz, and it really opened the doors for us out there. And we brought out, and the follow-up was an album called Loud and Proud, and we covered Joni Mitchell's This Flight Tonight. And it was a big hit for us. And just since then, we just, I don't know, we kind of appealed to Canadians. I don't know whether it's the national psyche that is a bit Scottish.
I don't know, but I grew up listening to your music. I know that much.
Well, every single album, right up until I don't know, up until To Excess,
Maybe.
were either gold or platinum in Canada. We've got something like 14, 15 albums that were all gold or platinum in Canada. You know, Canada was our most successful piece of earth. You know, and it's a big piece of the earth as well. So.
And I saw on the website that you had picked up a couple of guitars in Montreal.
Yeah.
In fact, one of your favorite basses, I think.
I've got I've got it here. This is, you know, that's the one I play, the Olympic. You know.
No, we spent
77. Yeah, it's 1977. I got that. And so it's 31 years I've been playing that. And I got it.
We also recorded 4 albums. I mean, we did 3 in Moran Heights.
Oh, at the studio.
At the studio.
Nice place.
Lovely place. And we did one in Little Mountain in Vancouver. So, Canada's...
That was Bob Rock.
Bob Rock's place, yeah.
Oh, we did.
Right, so there's... I don't know, like I say, they've got the same sort of psyche as Scots people, I think. You know, they like to play hard, and they like to have a good time, and they work hard. You know, so it's, I think they can relate to us and what we sing about and stuff. Because we tend not to sing about things we don't know about. You know.
Otherwise you can't relate to it.
If we were in the northern states and we got a few days off, very often we would fly up to Montreal or fly up to Toronto, you know, just for to have the few days off, because we knew so many people up there, you know? So we would just jump a plane and go up there and have a few days off up there, you know. So
there's such a large catalog of songs. How do you guys decide what to play, you know?
Difficult.
I would imagine.
It is, because this is like the 40th anniversary tour, right? So we had to, obviously, we've got a new album out called The Newz. So we had to do 4 songs off of that to promote that. But then it's, what else do we do? You know, because we've got so many records, hit records. So it's like, and every night you come off, there's always some guy comes up to get some insight, or some girl, and goes, "She's a great night, guys, but you didn't play my favourite." That's alright.
Always, with that many fans, it's bound to happen. Now, in the past few years, there's been a return demand for honest rock and musicians who play their own instruments. Now, what do you think has swayed the general public in the past 8 years or so?
My theory is, for every action there's reaction, and the music channels, like the TV music channels, they've made everything so untouchable. I mean, you've got to look like, you know, Beyonce, you know, or somebody like that. You have to have more bling than Snoop Doggy Dogg, and you have to spend $8 million on your video. And I think after a while, after you get past the age of 15, 16, you go, that's not real, is it? You know, you know what I'm saying? And I think people are just looking for something that's that maybe they can do, that maybe can relate to, you know.
There's a lot of younger bands as well playing guitars now, you know, because the guitar disappeared as an instrument really through the 80s, you know. It was just
Keyboards mostly.
It's electronic and
everything was electronic.
I mean, the pop scene at home in Britain at the moment is very, very healthy, and it's all guitar-driven pop. I mean, it's all people like the Fratellis and the Arctic Monkeys and bands like that, you know, that are all. I mean, it's pop, but it's good pop, you know, and it's well played, and the guys all seem to have their own thing. It reminds me a wee bit of what the 70s was like. You know, there was so many different bands, but you could like them all. You know, you could like Genesis and Jethro Tull and Nazareth and Deep Purple.
They all had a certain appeal.
They all had something, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas at the moment, back in Britain, I would say that's true again. You know, and probably a lot of Oasis had probably a lot to do with that, influenced a lot of these kids, I would have thought, because they were at the right age. You know?
I think it was one of the funny things when in the 90s when the CD came out and everybody was replacing, you know, the people that wanted to replace their other CDs. So I think guys were going out and buying the CD and coming back and playing it. Never played it for years, so their kids get to hear it. So, that's okay. I would say that.
Who is that? And plus, like, people like Guns N' Roses covered one of our songs and that, so that doesn't hurt. You know, because young kids that maybe never heard of us, you know, they hear Axel or I wonder why they like them. Maybe we should go and listen to them. You know, and then I mean, if you hear, well, the Guns N' Roses era of rock bands, well, you can hear everybody in there. You can hear us, you can hear Zeppelin, you hear Queen, you know, because that's what these kids were brought up on. You know, and
one of the things that happens quite a lot is people, young, especially with younger people, they go like, "Oh, is it you that sung that?" You know, they know the song, they know the record, but they have no idea the name of the band. I'm the same. You know, I know songs that I go, "That's a great song. That who is it?"
So Nazareth's last album was 10 years ago, Boogaloo. You know, what took so long? I mean, you guys had DVDs in between, but
well, it was a case of the record companies wanted us to make a record, but they didn't want to do anything with it. Basically, it was like, go on, make a record. And say, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, we'll put it out. Yeah, but I mean, you're going to sort of promote it. You're going to try and do something with it, you know. And so it was all very negative, you know, because record companies at this point were losing the grip, you see, because they didn't really know what was going on. And but then Adel came along, and they said they were quite keen to promote it and do what they could and get in touch with other journalists and whatever, and send copies to stations and whatever. So we said, okay, you guys will do it. And so far they've been pretty good.
You've got to remember that over the last 10 years and before that, you know, record companies weren't exactly queuing up to sign bands from the 70s, you know, that's I mean, a lot of the bands that came from around our time were taking 10 years in between albums because nobody was really standing at the door going, sign here. Because you've already got, 20 albums out, you know, how many albums can somebody buy of you? You know? You know?
I mean, you get the die-hard fans that would buy everything twice, you know. But I mean, if you talk to like friends of ours, like Purple and Heap and all that, they're the same. You know, they bring out records now, alright, Purple still get hits with them. Their albums will still chart, but not in the figures they used to sell.
No, not at all.
You know?
The demographics are different today.
Well, the thing is, when I was a kid and I was growing up, and our original public, when you were growing up, on a Saturday you bought a record because there was nothing else to buy. You know. But nowadays the kids have got computers, they've got
MP3s,
MP3s.
Don't even listen to an entire album.
No. You know. I used to find that exciting. I'd go out and buy an album and listen to it from start to finish, just to see where it was going. You know? The kids now, they download 2 tracks.
The experience is just not there.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, you'd have to be that age to be able to do it because, I mean, if I want some music, I've got to go to the store and buy it because I've no idea what to do with each other. You know? I mean,
that's because
you can download that. Well, maybe you can.
I know a man who can.
All right, let's get to the new album, the Newz. Very fascinated by it. It's going in definitely different directions.
Yeah,
it's got something that suit everybody.
This was our plan because we like a lot of different kinds of music, and the guys in the band were writing a lot of different kinds of songs. But we managed to make them all sound like Nazareth, and we liked that because I mean I like that. If I'm a record, you know, I'm a fan. I'll go out and buy people's records, you know, and I like it when it's, you know, I mean I love playing Razamanaz. But I don't want to do Son of Razamanaz or Great Grandson of Razamanaz. You know, we've done Razamanaz now, thank you. And it's great to play it live every night if you want to.
Sort of been there, done that.
Aye. And I think people want to hear something new. I mean, they want to feel the soul of the band and still being there, which I think we managed to do on this record.
Getting on to some of the songs, Logging On, is that like the band's view of the sort of dysfunctional life today?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, it's like, I've got a grandchild, and it's the minute he comes in the door, he wants to play on the computer. He wants, he doesn't want to go out and play soccer. He doesn't want to go, he wants to be on his computer. And he's really good at it.
I'll tell you what's really hilarious about that song, because the guy that actually wrote that song is Jimmy, who stuck his head in the door there, the guitar player, and Jimmy can't even switch on a computer, right?
Okay.
He can't even send an email. He came in with a song and he said, right, give me some computery words, because I'm writing this song, and this is the only guy in the band who knows nothing about computers, and he wrote that song, and it's hilarious. It really is. It's a good song.
No, but it's true. It's making people more insular. There's less social life now, especially with youngsters.
Yeah.
I mean, guys my age, or guys 10, 20 years younger than me, they still go to the bar and they still, whatever. But younger kids don't so much now. They do all their shopping online. They do,
But I know people at home where their wives are telling them, right, you get 2 hours on that thing.
That's it.
We kill the plot, because you're just sitting there going, and you think, jeez, I've been sitting here for 4.5 hours. And you don't notice it.
Well, you can find anything you want.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's like, my kid Colin that also does, he's a huge record buyer, and he's really into very heavy metal stuff. Now, our nearest town is Edinburgh, which is 3/4 of an hour away in the car. Now you have to park your car, and then you have to go to the store, and maybe they won't have it. So he just gets on Amazon.com. If he does it before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he gets it the next morning.
Sure.
So it all makes perfect sense.
The Gathering.
Yes.
Great riff. Is that your view on the situation of wars going on wherever?
Pretty much, yeah. That's my view. I just don't like it when they go off willy-nilly and send kids off to somewhere nobody's ever heard of because it's got oil. You go and get killed, sir, so we can run our cars. I don't like that.
No. Gloria, is that your requisite ballad on the album?
That was written by Lee, our drummer. And it's just about someone he knows, I guess.
Well, it's
a
the
situation.
guy in prison,
The guy who goes to prison.
It's from the point of view of the guy being an older guy in prison, watching the younger guys.
Day at the Beach, is that your commercial quota for this album?
No, it's about a dream girl, isn't it? I mean, it's about, imagine a bird that's got a Harley and owns a bar in San Antonio. You'd like to go out with her, wouldn't you? There you go, you see? And it's like she's really a nice kid, but don't mess with her. Or
We'll do that one live, actually.
Sorry?
We'll do that one in the set.
Tonight?
Day at the Beach,
okay.
Yeah. Why don't we do the Gathering?
That's just a fun song. Just a fun song.
Yeah, I heard it right away and I went, commercial, this will be like, this will be a single.
Hopefully.
Yeah, well,
for sure.
Yeah, hopefully.
For sure.
Yeah.
Certainly in Canada. I would think. Whose idea was it to put that absurd Goblin Pink at the back of the album?
Lee and Jimmy.
Lee and Jimmy.
The young guys. They decided that they were going to take the piss. You know what? As they say, this is so bad. Right? Because let's say Lee came into they'd been doing this for a year. The Goblin Pink, and all these people sing that kind of crap. So he said to Jimmy, we weren't even in the studio. He said to Jimmy, play the worst riff you can think of, and I'll do the worst vocal that we could ever do, and we'll do this thing. And we came in, and we were just pissing ourselves laughing.
It's hilariously funny. It's a cameraman that's doing the German part, and it's the producer who's doing. Please don't take me. He's the poor little French boy who's.
Because I thought I said. Has this been put on by the promotion company, or is that part of, does the band know about this? I just thought,
no, what we figured would be good about it was, we sell quite a lot of music to people who partake a little bit, and then, they put the CD on, and it finishes, and then this thing starts about 5 minutes later, so they'd be going,
where'd that come from?
One of the funny things about this is,
oh,
in about a year's time, we're going to meet somebody because my favourite track is
Goblin King.
The Goblin King. I remember when we did Loud and Proud. I mean, we did it so quickly after Raz and Naz album. We were recording it with Roger Glover was producing it. We were doing it at Apple Studios, the Beatles place, and we we were like 8 minutes. At that time, you were 8 minutes short of an album, really.
You got to put a filler.
So we went and said to Dal, just do this rhythm. You just do this thing. And what we're going to do, we'll think of something, right? Okay. So I went in and I did this big fuzzy bass thing, and Dan went, right, I've got it. Hollis Brown. You know, Hollis
150 verses.
150 verses. You can just keep going forever. Right, we'll do that. Well, I'm telling you, man, when we did this
that
thing,
came back to slap us.
Oh, did that come and slap us in the face? Because I'm going, this is awful. You know, I couldn't handle it at all. You see the amount of people that thought that's the best thing we ever recorded.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
absolutely.
I don't think that'll happen with Goblin Pink, but never mind.
Roger Glover, God bless him, went, that's a great track, guys. You know, I mean, he was being sincere, you know. I'd be like,
so, coming back to logging on, how do you think the internet has actually helped Nazareth?
Well, I think you're more available now because of websites and fans talk to each other. We have this fan forum where they all piss each other off by saying, I saw them last night, you didn't get to see them for 6 months. So, and if the guys that do ours are pretty good and we try and give them as much information as we can because people want to know. You know, it takes you from just being a band that they know to people that they know.
We try to keep our nose out of it. On our website, we say we'll set it up so they can all talk, shout, argue, do whatever they want to do. People come on, they slag us. Fine. Other people come on and they go, no, they're wonderful and we just don't make any comments. I do a thing. It's a bit like the Queen. I send out a Christmas message from the band. You know. Thanks very much, folks, blah, 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 blah. That's me for the year, you know, because we don't want to get involved in this thing, but we try to make the website so that it's good for the fans to use, you know, it's good fun for them, you know, different things and that.
Yeah.
No, but the positive thing about it is, like, we just did some gigs in Britain there, and there's all these fans from Germany and Scandinavia and all these places, and they all meet up and they all know each other.
Oh, aye. I mean, there's 14 of them come to Scotland and go to all the shows. But when we come to Germany here, you get people coming over from Hollis Brown. It's Dave. He's from Canada. They're coming over from Canada. There's people coming. They come from the Czech Republic. They come from all over, and they all know each other because of the website. And they all meet up. And they all go and stay at the same hotel and. We'll come to the show. It's amazing, you know. It's great.
Well, it's always the spin-off of your music, eh?
We did a special show last year. In fact, it wasn't last year; it was the year before, in Dunfermline, our hometown, where we did a thing. We did 2 nights with a fiddle player, and we did some special stuff that we'd written for it. It was a one-off thing because the fans got to hear that this was going to take place. So they all came from all over the globe, right? And when I went into the hall, when I was walking through the foyer of the hall, and it was like being in the United Nations. I mean, there was about 14 languages going on. It was incredible. All the languages going on, all around about me. You know, you could hear the different accents, and they were all talking to each other. You know, amazing, quite amazing.
Amazing.
That's good.
Well, if I was to walk onto your tour bus, you know, what kind of music would I be hearing coming out of the speakers?
It depends which lounge you went into.
Oh, okay.
If you went into the bottom lounge last night, you'd have heard a bit of Free, a bit of Otis Redding, and if you were up the top lounge, you'd be hearing things like Slayer, Ronnie James Dio.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Cheers, brother.